Depending on who you ask, the term God will carry various meanings, and there are many views, beliefs, and perceptions of God that not just exist today, but have existed for thousands of years. This episode will highlight 10 different types of gods that people worship or at least acknowledge. Hey, what's happening, FTD Facts fam? My name is Leroy Kenton, and lovers of mythology I think are gonna really enjoy this episode, so let's begin. The type of god at number 10 is tutelary gods. Tutelary gods is a pretty broad category of gods that typically includes two forms of gods. The first type is known as genius, according to the Romans anyways. These are the personal guardian deities that every single person has. Now the second type of tutelary god is the guardians of the world, and they have been portrayed as river gods, mountain gods, gods that protect cities, and the forest gods. There are even lesser tutelary beings existing, such as the nymphs of certain springs or forests in Greek mythology. From there we move on to craft gods at number 9. Literally the gods of craft, but more broadly the gods who represent civilization and achievements of humans. Hephaestus, the Greek god of fire, is one example. Also there's Athena, who represented useful crafts such as weaving, and then there's Hestia, who was the goddess of the hearth, which is the floor of a fireplace pretty much. Then over in Egyptian religion, Ptah was the creator god and the maker of things and a patron of craftsmen. Also in Babylonian mythology, Mamu is the equivalent to Ptah. Nature gods is the next type of god. So in Greek mythology, they refer to these gods as rustic deities, and nature gods are the gods of countrysides and pastures, wild forests and things like that. Yet they are distinct from tutelary gods. These type of gods most often predate human life, and they represent animalistic desires and instincts. So one example is Pan in Greek mythology, who is the god of wild partying. Moving on to number 7, personifications. Personifications are minor gods who are literal aspects of human existence and emotion, but they are described or thought of as having human forms or human attributes. In Greek mythology, some of these types of gods are known as daimons. They generally are the gods or spirits of emotions like fear, lust, hate, revenge, and human conditions like old age or war, and certain sins like greed, gluttony, etc. Cyclical and liminal gods are at number 6. Now, liminal and cyclical gods often overlap with other types of gods. They are the gods of boundaries, change, cycles, and liminal gods personify crossing over, while cyclical deities or cyclical gods embody the passing of an eternal cycle. So this can get a little bit tricky, but let me explain. Let me give you some examples. The changing of the seasons is often attributed to Persephone's movement back and forth from the underworld, causing spring, as well as the stages of life. That's personified as the mother maiden and crone. Then the stages of life are attributed to the mother maiden. And then there's also the Egyptian god Ra, who dies and is reborn with the sun every day. Halfway in at number 5, this god type is known as cultural heroes. Cultural hero gods are found in pretty much every single religion. They are often the same as trickster gods, but they're cultural heroes because they gave humanity something very, very important, usually against the wishes of other gods. Like for example, Loki invented nets and gave humans the ability to fish. Prometheus stole fire from Zeus and taught humans how to make it. And cultural heroes are often punished by the other gods because they do things like this, but through their trickery and their just complete defiance of authority and pretty much just rebelling against what the other gods say, well, they actually allowed humans to prosper in that process. Number 4 brings us to celestial gods. These gods, they personify or control the cosmological bodies of the universe. These include the sun, such as Apollo, the moon as Selene, and stars as Asteria. The planets, the heavens, as well as the underworld are also personified as gods. Celestial gods may overlap with primordial gods, which I'll be talking about next. So keep on watching, that's also a very fascinating one. But the main distinctions are that these gods walk in human forms at times, and they have human-like emotions, and they control but do not physically make up the thing that they personify. As mentioned, number 3 brings us primordial gods. Almost every single mythology and religion has at least one primordial god, but some have several of these types of gods. Primordial gods exist as the unknowable power that created the world and came before the more human-like gods. There's one god known as Pangu in Chinese mythology, then there is chaos in Greek creation mythology, and also the Abrahamic religions refer to a single god known as Yahweh or Elohim or Allah and other various different names. Although this concept of God is often seen as separate from primordial gods, since the attributes of the God of the Abrahamic religions are not necessarily split up into being various gods. But either way, this type of God created the universe, and the creation story will vary depending on the various different beliefs or mythologies that exist. Primordial gods may also have some sort of anthropomorphic form, such as the Greek god Nyx, who dwelt in a physical place, but others may not have any physical form at all, or any sort of physical manifestation. Primordial gods may be literal aspects or concepts such as day and night, light, darkness, chaos, order, life, death, or even the universe itself. And these gods, often their will is not known to mortals. Number 2, very interesting name, CYCLICAL. Yeah, CYCLICAL comes from the Greek word to mean guide of the soul. And these are deities who guide the dead to the afterlife. Probably the most popular is the Egyptian god Anubis, who leads dead people to the afterlife in Egyptian mythology, and Charon does this in Greek mythology. CYCLICAL may also help those that are passing accomplish their last deeds, or they judge the dead on their entry to the afterlife. Now we end off on number 1, the triple goddesses. The triple goddesses is a deity or deity type honored in many neo-pagan religions and spiritual traditions. The triple goddess is viewed as a trinity of 3 distinct aspects or figures united in one being. Many religions have a triple deity of some sort, like the concept of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit in certain branches of Christianity. Triple goddesses are normally determiners or predictors of fate in some way, and they may include the 3 stages of life: Mother, Maiden, and Crone, who stand in for youth, adulthood, and seniority. Norse mythology has the Norns, and Greek mythology has the Moirai, which means fates in Latin. And in Irish mythology, they have the Morrigan. Alright guys, so that concludes this episode. This was a look at 10 different types of gods that people worship. I want to hear your thoughts and comments down below. Were any of these deity types that you were familiar with, or was this completely new to you? Either way, it's always fascinating learning about mythology and various different religious and cultural beliefs of various different people. So really hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, and if this is your first time here to the channel, subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when new videos are posted. We post videos like this daily, so look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode.